Hey guys, it's Jarek the Air Dragon from RDA. Got another review today, and this one's very anticipated. People do like this submachine gun quite a bit. This is of the KWA MP9. So let's start out with the box. The box is a standard KWA box, just says KWA in giant letters, and that says engineered to outperform, which so far really has been proving that to be true. Let's go ahead and open up the box. It comes with a very thick instruction manual. No Chinglish in here. It's actually English since KWA's headquarters is in America. Your warranty sheets, so if something is wrong with the gun, which would be rare, but if something happens with the gun, you go directly with KWA and their customer service is absolutely amazing. 2 giant thumbs up to KWA's customer service. One of these will be on the gun itself. I took it off for review purposes. It will say genuine KWA product. Now the reason they actually put these on here is because they are having a bit of a problem with counterfeiting. It seems that some Chinese companies and whatnot are trying to clone KWAs, then classify their gun as a KWA. And they aren't genuine, they don't perform as well. Obviously they're nowhere near as good as KWA's quality just because they're knockoffs. So they started putting these on their guns. The easiest way to really avoid getting a counterfeit KWA is go through a retailer that goes direct with KWA, such as Red Dragon Airsoft does. We go through KWA direct, so no need to worry about there ever being a counterfeit KWA. Moving on, you get a hop-up tool we're going to put over to the side and use that later. You get about 50 to 100 BBs. I would recommend picking up some more. These are not enough. They are good enough quality to use, though. Then you get some silicone oil, which I would recommend using a bit of this. And here's the gun. It's packaged pretty nicely, so no need to worry about it breaking during shipping, which is always pleasant. So the gun itself only comes with 1 magazine. This is about a 55 round magazine. It's a pretty big and hefty mag. And then you got the KWA MP9, which is what everybody is waiting to see. Now that box out of the way, let's move on with the review. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a small little comparison between the KWA and the KSC MP9, because they are very different. So let's go ahead and put these side by side, and they got it's perfect balance. Look at that. Now they look very similar, but in person you can really see major differences. KSC has a giant seam line going all along the gun that the KWA does not have. There's no seam there. The actual plastic and finish on the KSC isn't quite as nice and neat looking as the KWA, and these are things that you really could nitpick about that aren't even serious. But then you get into the actual quality build of the gun. The externals on the KSC are made of some fiber plastic, but it's just a lot lighter than the KWA is. It doesn't feel as near as solid as the KWA is, and the KWA is made out of complete polymer, so the KWA is very, very solid. If you drop the KWA, I would have no worry about anything on this breaking. KSC, I couldn't say the same about. And let's move on to the internals. The internals of the KSC MP9, basically what it really is was KSC's TMP. All they did is put a big foam pad in the back and reinforce the metal piece back here and pretty much just re-released it, saying, hey look, it's an MP9, we put MP9 trademarks on it, and it's more solid now. So they didn't really do much to it, it uses the same version 1 system. KWA, however, completely redid everything. This is a 1-to-1 scale with the actual MP9, whereas KSC's is a little bit fatter than the MP9, just a little bit, not enough for you to really notice unless you have these two side by side, but enough for it to really stand out once you know. So this isn't 1-to-1 scale, whereas this is. And internally, this uses the NS2 system, which is a lot more gas efficient than the standard version 1 system is. And you can tell while shooting it. This thing shoots about 350 feet per second and about 1,200 rounds a minute. This one shoots about 320, 330 feet per second and about a good 900 rounds a minute, if my memory serves me correct. As well as accuracy in the KSC is not quite as superb as KWA. So pretty much in all aspects, the KWA is better than the KSC. With the exception of one thing, the KSC does have actual MP9 trademarks, whereas the KWA has KWA's own MP9 trademarks, which I've heard a lot of opinions about people not liking KWA's trademarks. Personally, the way I see it is it's better than just having a blank gun, because a blank gun looks very, very strange, especially when you're talking about a gun like the USP or something like that, where it's just an empty slide. I'd rather plain have KWA trademarks rather than nothing. But let's go ahead and zoom in and show these trademarks I'm talking about. Alright, so here are the KSC trademarks. It says MP9 and then B&T Brugger and Top End, which is the company that actually makes the real MP9. How that became into existence was that they actually bought it from Steyr, which was originally the TMP. They kind of changed a few things, and it became the MP9 to keep it real simple. Let's go over to the KWA MP9. And you can really see close up the finish difference between the KWA and the KSC, but we're talking about trademarks here. See the trademarks on there, it says KWA and then KMP9. Alright, now here's the close-up of the bolt. You can see it says the caliber, it's a 9mm, and then a unique serial number, and you can also see on a sticker there, manufactured by KSC Japan, which I left that on there. You can take it off if you really want to if you end up getting the KSC, although there's not much reason with the KWA around unless you're a hardcore collector. It also, right over on the left, says Swiss made and has another unique serial number. Let's go over to the KWA. As you can see on the KWA where it said Swiss made, on this one it says manufactured in Taiwan, which is also another thing, because you can see on the KSC it said manufactured by KSC Japan. It's manufactured in Japan. So another thing, KSC and KWA are sister companies. They're not the same company. They both have their own factories. They just do a lot of work with each other. But back to the trademarks. You can also see it says caliber 6mm, like the BB would be, and then a unique serial number from KWA. And as you can see here, the finish between the KWA and the KSC is a little bit different. The KWA is a lot cleaner. It's actually a little bit lighter in color, but it kind of has more of a military black tone to it. The KSC is the one in the back, as you can tell with the MP9 trademarks. And as a whole, it's just a lot higher quality externally, and internally for that matter. Alright, so as you guys see, there's a definite difference between the KWA and the KSC. This also means that the parts are not interchangeable. You can't use KSC MP9 parts with the KWA MP9. You can't switch magazines. You can't use the KSC MP9 magazine speed loader on the KWA. So all the parts on the KSC will not work in the KWA and vice versa. Alright, now let's go ahead and get this out of the way and move on to the real review of the KWA MP9. So, as I already stated, the externals on this gun are almost completely polymer. Very, very high quality. The gun is actually very comfortable. It's 1-to-1 scale with the actual MP9. The only parts on this that are metal compared to the actual polymer body, this is not a bad thing, is the magazine, the bolts, the railing on this side, which is metal, and that's actually it. So most of the gun is polymer, which means it is very light, but it still has some heft to it. It's very, very comfortable. It's also, as you can see, very compact. If you want to take this into CQB, you got no problem taking this into CQB. The only thing is you got to be sure that your CQB arena allows 350 feet per second, because this gun shoots 350 feet per second and 1250 rounds a minute. That's 1,250 rounds a minute. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Now, I might as well show you the magazine. The magazine's a little bit different than the KSC. It's a little bit thinner. Like I said, these two magazines aren't going to be swappable. The KWA only works in the KWA, and the KSC only works in the KSC. The KWA mag's a little different. It does have the normal KWA spring lock, so when you load up the BBs, it makes it easier. Also, if you want to dry fire, it makes it easier. And KWA also includes a sticker over the actual magazine of all of over the gas flow valve on the magazine on all their gas blowbacks now. Basically, in short, what it says is don't push hard on the gas flow valve. That'll cause it to start leaking. There's no real reason to push it that hard. It has an easy fill gas flow valve, and I'll show you what I mean. I barely have to put any effort into this, and it's already filling. So you barely have to put any weight on this at all, so be a little bit careful with that. I'm going to do a little bit of dry firing for you. So, semi-automatic. Should probably cock it. When there's no ammo in here, the bolt catch will lock back. I had to push up on it because I have the spring lock down here. See, like no ammo like that, and you'll push the bolt catch on this side down. Now I'll shoot some semi. If you can't tell by the camera, it's very loud. If you're standing anywhere near the gun it'll literally make your ears ring. That's how loud this thing is. By far the loudest gas blowback out there. To switch it on full auto, there's this little piece right here that you push in. It'll have 3 dots on this side showing full auto and 1 dot on this side showing semi. This used to be also have a safety, but when they turned into the MP9, they changed that because it was kind of hard to switch between semi, full auto, and safe all right here. So all they did is add a double safety to the trigger so that if you push the side of the trigger, it won't go off. You have to actually pull it. We got full auto. Let's see this thing. And there you go. Now I didn't gas it up all the way, but this gun is very gas conservative. It's very good on gas. You can get about a good 4 magazines off on a warm day. I got about 3 magazines off when it was 60, rainy, miserable, lots of moisture in the air. About pretty much the worst you can get for gas guns, with the exception of just making it colder, but the same. So it's very good on gas. The NS2 system is known for doing that. And there's no real reason to complain about that. Let's move to the folding stock. On the KSC, this folding stock is a little bit flimsy. On the KWA, there is nothing flimsy about it at all. It even takes more force to fold and to unfold. There's a button on the back right here that you push in, and then this will fold over and click in place right by the handguard. This actually makes it somewhat comfortable to hold on to if you don't need the stock, or if you do one hand and want to be cool to shoot everywhere. You can do a lot of blind firing with this thing really easily. I'd just like to see my targets a little bit more though. And to pull the stock off, all you've got to do literally is just pull it off and then it clicks into place. This will ease up over time. When you first get it, it'll be kind of stiff, but after a while, it's the perfect amount of tension. So the stock itself is very, very solid, unlike the KSC. Move to the top rail. There's a full rail here, and there's a full rail on the side, so if you wanted to mount a laser or a red dot or EOTech or something along those lines, you could do that. However, the actual sights to this thing are pretty cool. They're very, very simple. Just a ring in back, post in front, but they work perfect for what you need to use this gun for. Now let's move back to the hop-up tool here. So I'm going to get it out of the bag. Just like a standard KWA hop-up unit, you've got to pull back on the bolt, lock it in place preferably, it makes it easier with the bolt catch, and you simply stick the unit inside the bolt and twist it. Right for more hop-up, left for less hop-up, make it spin down. Now, while on the topic of the hop-up unit, this thing has an amazing hop-up unit. I was hitting targets up to 150 feet away, man-sized targets. Very, very accurate gun for the size. I mean, this thing is small. But what more impressed me is the fact that this thing has so good compression. When I turn the hop-up unit down, it has so much force on the BB that on full auto it actually manages to jam it. And this is the first time I've actually had a gun jam and be like, oh, I'm surprised. It's a good thing about the gun. You never need a BB to be going like that, so that's why it's not a bad thing. But the compression is just so good that the hop-up unit is putting so much force on the BB that it can't really eject very well and just jams up if it is turned down. Now, if you have your hop-up unit turned flat, no problems are going to occur. This thing's going to perform flawlessly for you. I was just showing that this thing has really good compression and that the hop-up unit is very, very effective. So again, really accurate. It shoots like 350 feet per second and 1250 rounds a minute, which is ridiculous. But the accuracy is just as good as that. 150 feet away, man-sized target, that's the max you're going to be able to hit accurately. Longer range is going to be put it on full auto and just shoot in that direction and hope you hit your target. There's really not going to be much aiming involved there. Alright, I think I've covered everything on this gun now. If you want to buy this gun, there's a link down below to RDA's website. There's also a link down below to RDA's forum where you can talk to the community. So with that said, that has been Red Dragon Airsoft review of the KWA MP9.